This is macOS Ken.
iPhone 14 Pro production and procurement, a major League Soccer announcement, and another Apple Store moves toward union. It is Thursday, the 17th of November, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get 50% off your new home security system by visiting simplisafe.com/macOSKen today. This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. There are plenty of times in life when I don't know what to do, what to think in a certain situation, how to deal with certain feelings. You kind of wish life came with instructions. Well, it doesn't. You just have to figure stuff out. Cool thing is, you don't have to do it by yourself. BetterHelp can help. I like the fact that BetterHelp is there where and when you need it. I've talked to BetterHelp counselors, stopped, then started again when I felt like I needed it again. With seemingly countless counselors and with everything being digital, convenience and accessibility are key. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. Couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, and no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. That's betterhelp.com/macOSKen. betterhelp.com/macOSKen. The course may not be smooth, but Jefferies Group analyst Kyle McNeely is staying it. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note wherein he lowered his expectations for iPhone this quarter because, duh, but stuck with his rating on Apple shares and his price target. While many have been pleased to point out that the problem with the Pro end of the iPhone 14 line is a supply issue, not a demand issue, Mr. McNeely goes one further, saying it's a labor and operations issue, not a components issue. Because remember when that was the problem? I guess the thinking is once Foxconn has enough people to crank out phones again, no more holdups for the high end of the iPhone 14 line. As for getting more people, call in the troops. Or former troops. Apple Insider highlights a report from the South China Morning Post that says China's Veteran Affairs Bureau has posted an open letter to retired People's Liberation Army, or PLA, personnel in the vicinity of Foxconn's iPhone plant in Zhengzhou. That's the one that spent the last month wrestling with a COVID outbreak and COVID fears that have driven employees away from the factory. Now, the piece says officials in the county where the factory is situated are asking ex-PLA people to answer the government's call and take part in the resumption of production at Foxconn Zhengzhou. The open letter calls on their history of service and asks that they show up where there's a need. Local officials are also recruiting civilians from surrounding towns, according to the report. The thing about recruiting, though, it takes time. And training takes time. That time is costing Apple money and costing some would-be buyers their phones. If you're hoping to have an iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max for somebody this Christmas, you may want to start looking now. A piece from the Mac Observer says it is likely too late to order one from Apple and have it in hand by the 24th of December. According to the site, iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max are now showing delivery estimates beginning the 27th of December. Of course, they wrote that Wednesday. Checking in the wee small hours of Thursday morning, delivery is now showing the 28th of December. Of course, Apple's not your only option for getting Apple's latest and greatest. TMO says Best Buy has them available well before Christmas. Again, checking late last night, a Best Buy near me had iPhone 14 Pros I could pick up today. Even that cool, deep purple that all the cool people have. They all seem to be carrier locked, though. A number of Target stores in my area claimed to have limited stock as well, though the stock was so limited they said you had to visit the store to find out more. Point is, there may be other places to get the device besides Apple, so, poke around and find out. Sorry if that sounded dirty. Checking in again with our friend from Jefferies Group. Despite the device's hit or miss availability, Mr. McNeely says the lack of ready availability for iPhone 14 Pro models is costing Apple. Assuming 3 weeks of full lockdown and a ramp back up, McNeely says the impact would translate to 3 to 5 million Pro phones missed this quarter, $3.2 billion to $5.3 billion in revenue, and 4 cents to 6 cents in earnings per share. But, Apple is magic. The way the analyst sees it, there are things Apple can do to soften the blow, despite the Zhengzhou plant accounting for 85% of iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max production, in his estimation. Tricks he sees up Apple's sleeve include 1. Maximize output at the Shenzhen site in Guangdong, which is tooled for iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max models. 2. Extend 24-hour operations for a longer peak season and increase output in December. 3. Pay bigger incentives for overtime and new workers. And 4. Stagger vacations to achieve continual operations with more workers. And I don't think he had even heard about the Army when he wrote his note. Maybe it's those tricks. Maybe it's a belief that folks waiting for an iPhone they want will keep waiting for the iPhone they want. Whatever the case, McNeely is standing pat on Apple. He maintains a buy rating on the company's shares and a price target of $195. We've got details on Apple's Major League Soccer plans. The Cupertino Company and Major League Soccer, or MLS, announced terms of their season pass offering on Wednesday. This is the one that Apple says will make every match available on billions of devices through the Apple TV app on Apple devices, smart TVs, streaming devices, set-top boxes, and game consoles, and the web at tv.apple.com. Taking a first one's free approach, the press release says every match held opening weekend will be available to watch for free on the Apple TV app. That weekend will include a home opener at the Rose Bowl Stadium between the LA Galaxy and the 2022 MLS Cup champions, Los Angeles FC. Opening weekend hits on the 25th of February, though folks who know that soccer is their jam don't have to wait quite that long to subscribe. People who want to subscribe will be able to do so starting the 1st of February. Apple TV Plus subscribers can sign up for $12.99 per month or $79 per season. For non-Apple TV Plus people, the price will be $14.99 per month or $99 per season. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, SimpliSafe. Love and joy come to you this holiday season. Also, watch out for bad guys. This time of year, property crimes like burglaries and package thefts spike across the country. That is why the good people at SimpliSafe Home Security are offering 50% off their award-winning security system. You know the stuff I love about SimpliSafe. You getting to choose just the elements you need to keep your home and family safe. You setting it up yourself. No strangers involved. Just an easy setup that took me well under an hour. And there's a 24/7 monitoring team. For less than $1 a day, they keep an eye out, sending emergency services as soon as a threat is detected. And right now, Simply Safe is offering the Gear at 50% off so that more families can feel safe and secure this holiday season. Simply Safe was named the best home security system of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report for a third year in a row, and now you can have it for less. Don't miss your chance for massive savings on a great security system. Get 50% off any new system at simplysafe.com/macOSken today. This is their biggest discount of the year. SIMPLI. That's simplysafe.com/macOSken. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Remember that problem with Apple TVs that thought they were only half their size? Yeah, that's all better, it seems. I told you yesterday of a problem where at least some 128GB models of the latest Apple TV thought they only had 64GB of storage. Though there was still plenty of room when the units hit their Imagine limit, they instructed users to either delete apps before they could download more, or manage their storage in settings. All better. A piece from Mac Rumor says Apple on Wednesday released tvOS 16.1.1. Indications in the piece are this, fix that. As day follows night, so public betas follow developer betas. I told you yesterday that Apple had released betas for almost all of its operating systems to developers on Tuesday. It followed that by releasing some to public testers on Wednesday. A piece from Mac Rumors says Apple gave the public testing peeps access to the third betas of iOS and iPadOS 16.2 on Wednesday, while another piece from the same site says they also got access to a third beta of macOS Ventura 13.1. Apple has issued a security update that may not have updated anything. Rapid Security Response is a new feature coming to iOS and iPadOS. It's the one that'll let Apple issue security patches for people who opt in without having to perform an OS update or a restart. A piece from 9to5Mac says the third betas of iOS and iPadOS 16.2 got security updates on Wednesday, though the site is not sure they actually did. The way the 9to5ers see it, it's possible that there is no actual security fix. The update could be a test to demonstrate Apple's rapid security response system. Why do they think that? Because while the update is marked clearly as a security-specific fix, the piece says there is no security information about it. Who knows? Maybe that's part of the rapid thing. Time will tell. Another Apple retail location in the States has filed to hold a union vote. 9to5Mac says the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, or IAM, has filed a petition with the National Labor Relations Board for a vote on unionization. According to the IAM site, the organization seeks to represent approximately 82 Apple Store employees in St. Louis in their bid to unionize. Could be one of two stores, according to the report. 9to5Mac says the press release did not make clear whether the store in question is Apple St. Louis Galleria or the city's other store, Apple West County. And finally today, with just a few weeks left until its premiere, the Mac Observer says Apple TV Plus has released a trailer for the Antoine Fuqua Will Smith historical drama, Emancipation. Not surprisingly, it looks brutal. I can't imagine you've forgotten, but just in case, the film, set during the Civil War and based on a true story, follows Peter, a runaway enslaved person in search of his family. Eventually, TMO says Peter joins the Union Army. During a routine medical examination, doctors discover scars on Peter's back, brought about by plantation owners. The newspaper, The Independent, took photographs of the scars and printed them, making it one of the first times the cruelty of slavery was truly brought to the public eye. It's a heavy topic, and it's been a long road for this film. When Apple would release it seemed up in the air for a while, after Will Smith walked on stage and slapped comedian Chris Rock during this year's live Academy Awards telecast. But release it they will, and soon. The film gets a limited theatrical run beginning Friday, the 2nd of December. It starts streaming on Apple TV Plus 1 week later, Friday, the 9th of December. Between now and then, you can catch the trailer on YouTube. Today on the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast, when is old content new again? When Apple TV Plus uses it to generate buzz. TMO writer Nick DeCorval joins me to talk the Cupertino streamer's stealth programming plan. Plus, TMO managing editor Jeff Butts walks us through the emergency SOS via satellite demo on iPhone 14. That is all today on the Daily Observations podcast from the Mac Observer, online at macobserver.com or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get 50% off your new home security system by visiting simplysafe.com/macOSKen today. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.